Hello, and welcome to this episode of Demystified as we explore home cooking in a modern world. I'm here with my friend Paul, and I'm Linda. How are you going, Paul? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
How are you?
We're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about equipment.
Kitchen equipment,
Kitchen
sort
equipment.
of, right? But it's not a bugbear, but given that we went for a little visit
We did.
today
We had an offsite excursion.
across the road,
Sure.
and it wasn't to the pub.
No, it was a building next door, which was interesting. But anyway.
No, it got me thinking. So probably something. And funny thing is sort of over the Christmas, New Year period, what quite a lot of people do, including in my household, and we went to quite extreme measures this year, is do a bit of a clear out of junk and stuff. And anyway, so we're about to have a garage sale soon. Lots of kids' toys that no longer have any use and all the rest of it. But it did get me thinking because I was cleaning my second drawer down in the kitchen. Now, everyone's second drawer down is the
utensils.
Yeah, well.
Small utensils.
Yeah, so you've got whisks and you've got spatulas and all sorts of stuff.
Peelers,
well.
ice cream scoops,
all the rest of it. And it got me thinking, not only that, but also wandering across the road today, wooden spoons. So this is the thing with wooden spoons, right? Now, I encourage anyone to do this that owns a wooden spoon is when you get home, put your wooden spoon in a glass, right? And fill that glass up with boiling water from the kettle and just give it a stir around and let it sit, right? And go back about, 4 or 5 minutes later and have a look at the water. Now, what happens is this timber absorbs, right? And so a lot of people keep their wooden spoons for an extraordinarily long
I know you do.
time.
I know you do.
Well, no, I don't actually.
Oh.
No, I've kept that one that I
you've
spoke
kept
to you.
one. Yes, okay.
And that, but
I have one that I've had since I was a teenager, probably.
The difference with that one is that one's sealed. Okay.
Okay.
So I know that's sealed. But anyway, what vast majority of people would probably find is the water will go murky, and also you probably end up with a bit of an oil slick on the surface of the water and all the rest of it. And they're pretty good indicators that it's time to visit the kitchenware store and invest very small amounts of money in probably some new wooden spoons, but wooden utensils in general, okay? Because it is a bit of a gross health hazard type situation.
It's never occurred to me, Paul, because I know Dougie, he's making a lot of soups these days.
Yep.
And I know even though I use more of the sort of the temperature-proof spatulas
silicone spatulas and stuff
in
like
my
that.
cooking, I still have that favourite little rounded wooden spoon, but I know Dougie likes it.
Yeah. So it'll be
I better test that when I go home. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because what you'll
interesting.
also find, so those of us that make curries and things like that, especially if you use a lot of turmeric and stuff like that, you'll see the wooden spoon turn yellow. Now, it stays yellow, right? And you can put wooden spoons through a dishwasher, you can do whatever you like, but I suggest to you that what you do is go home, put them in a glass, soak them in a little bit of boiling water and see what happens.
Okay. Now, that's interesting.
On the flip side of that, right, you can, like wooden spoons are cheap. Yeah? Some will have a finish on them, okay? And over time, working with hot liquids generally or hot surfaces and oil and all the rest of it, that surface may wear off, okay? So that as soon as the surface starts to wear off, you and I both know where it's going, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably time to replace.
I'm just thinking of my one. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So what I tend to do is I tend to buy wooden spoons, and I'm picking on wooden spoons in particular, right? It's only because there was so many over there.
And I went, such a variety.
That's something that we can talk about. I tend to buy wooden spoons that aren't finished, okay? And the best thing that you can do with them is soak them in a neutral oil, okay? So an avocado oil or a macadamia nut oil or something like that, and leave them soak for a good day. Day and a half. And what that will do is the oil will penetrate the timber and it will just help the wooden spoon last a little bit longer. It's like chopping board maintenance. Now, I'm a big one for timber chopping boards versus plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic does have its place. I'm talking in the home kitchen, right? In commercial kitchens, it's different. But it's like maintaining a chopping board. It's like maintaining the handle on the timber handle on your knife. So my knives are all olive wood handles. So it's like that. So it requires maintenance. So a wooden spoon requires maintenance, and a wooden spoon spends a lot more time touching your food than the handle of your knife.
I'm looking worried. If this was a video camera, I'm now looking a bit worried because it's never even occurred to me.
Yeah.
I know how you feel about the wooden chopping boards and regularly looking after them, but it's never occurred to me that wooden spoon I've had for quite a long time,
and it's been
would even be
exposed to heat too. So
heat and liquids.
Yeah. So what we used to actually do is, and it would happen a lot more regularly in restaurants, is that we would regularly just throw out all of our wooden spoons and just replace them with new ones. But what we would actually do with the wooden spoons is we would just throw them straight into the deep fryer, just soak them straight in the deep fryer, and then you just let them drain for half a day, and away you go. And it will prevent them from, well, it doesn't prevent them, but it stops them catching on fire. It seals the wood. It does a whole lot of stuff. So you might get a little bit more longevity out of your wooden spoon if you really need to. I mean, we shouldn't be a disposable society, but
no,
you'll get a little bit more longevity out of your wooden spoon, because at the moment, I would suggest that there is a high percentage of the population whose wooden spoons are dirtier than the disposable wooden cutlery that they eat off at an event, right? And we use that once and throw it away. Yet we keep our wooden spoon for, how long have you had yours?
Oh, since I was 18 when I left home.
Yeah, so that's a while.
It's a fair while.
So
it's over 40 years.
Yeah, go and find your local. Well, give that a go.
I will do that.
Go and find your local kitchen.
I will do that this weekend, actually, because that's a little bit sad.
Well,
because my grandma,
you shouldn't be so attached to a wooden spoon.
No, but it's a memory of it. Because
you keep it, but don't cook.
But don't cook with it. Tell Dougie not to cook with it, because my grandma convinced me once to make a wooden spoon. Use a wooden spoon to make a sponge cake.
Yeah.
And I said, that's impossible. Yeah. And she said, no, that's how we all did it before we had mixers. How do you think we all learned? And I thought my arm was going to fall off as I had to keep beating the mix. But it was with that wooden spoon. So I linked that to that sort of session where I did make probably the best sponge I've ever made, but will never replicate, because of the way my arm felt afterwards for days, how to make that sponge with a wooden spoon and make it light and fluffy.
But wooden spoons are really good, right?
Yeah.
So,
okay,
if we think about the sort of traditional way of making a risotto, or even one of your favourites, paella, right? So, metal spoons, which is what you'll often find in commercial situations, there's a vast majority of stainless steel versus timber. That this is one of the reasons for it, is that you can't maintain it, right? It picks up moisture, it picks up flavour, it picks up grossness and dirt and bacteria and all that yuck stuff. But metal spoons cut the grains of rice.
Okay, so you don't want that.
Wooden spoons are they're good to have. And like my mother had a wooden spoon for God knows how long. Like, I remember she broke one on the side.
I was going to say, I have friends who have children, and they have gone through a lot of long-handled wooden spoons over the years.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Well, it makes a good sound over a nappy as well. So it's
back in my day,
didn't hurt, but it made a good sound.
Back in my day, getting a tap on the bum with a wooden spoon was not common practice, but it happened.
But it happened a lot.
Yeah.
For naughty boys, Paul, naughty.
And it was more of a threat than anything else. But I do remember one occasion when it did break. But go check your wooden spoons, because like if we think about how often people are replacing their non-stick pans, and people are, talk about, that's the surface is flaking off and all the rest of it.
People don't do enough of that. They let it go a lot longer than they should.
This is just as like
manky.
Well, if that's a word. Yeah, it's not going to, I doubt very much if it's going to kill you, but right, for the sake of $1 for a wooden spoon, you reckon? $2?
Well, the guy across the road who's just opened up his kitchenware shop has about 30 varieties of wooden spoon.
Yeah. So
long handled, short handled, round ones with hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So, and that goes for, and realistically, like any kitchen utensil that I have that is timber will get a soaking in oil. It just seals it. So the only thing that doesn't is my bamboo sushi mat, and I'll replace them reasonably regularly.
Okay.
So anything that, even if it's got a wooden handle, just give it a soak in oil, and it will just help seal it. It stops the moisture getting in more so than anything else. It just stops the moisture getting in. And don't leave them in the sink overnight where it's full of water. I tend not to put them in the dishwasher if possible. But yeah, replace your wooden spoons probably a little bit more than
once a decade. Once every 4 decades.
Yeah.
Your knives, your knives are always very well. They're very well. They look great, and I know how old some of your knives are.
Yeah.
How do you treat the wooden handle?
So the handle's been soaked.
Okay.
Yeah. So I soak that. I mean, soaking a knife in oil is not going to hurt it. So I just put the whole knife in. It's probably due. My old chef's knife is probably due for a soak. But the same way, you can just brush it on with a pastry brush. Same goes, right? Pastry brush, they're often wooden handled.
Yes.
Yeah. So
they tend to fall apart. They tend to separate
soak the handle. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything wood, just soak it. It just stops the moisture getting into it more so than anything else. So yeah, have a go at the wooden spoon test and see what happens.
Oh dear, I'm worried. I'll take a photo of
we'll put it in the newsletter.
Okay.
We'll take a photo.
We'll
see what colour it turns out.
Oh.
But yeah, I just thought, a lot of people do a bit of a clean up in the sort of new year and start afresh and all the rest of it. But what I've seen wooden spoons that older than you and me put together, and that's pretty old.
That's pretty old.
And yeah, people hang on to them for, I don't want to.
No, a long time.
We shouldn't dispose of everything, right? But it's a health issue more so than anything else, I think. Bit of a health hazard.
Well, that's an interesting one. I had no idea where that was coming from today. As we should, well, there you are.
Yeah.
Not that we should. We just sometimes grab a moment like this and.
Yeah, and the other one, I'm not sure if we've spoken about it, but I want to talk about, maybe we'll talk about this next week. Probably the most common question I'm asked, or one of the most common questions I'm asked about equipment is fry pans, saucepans, and what you should buy.
Yeah, there has been a few come through cooking with steam.
Yeah, and I get asked in my day job all the time what you should buy. So we'll have to go through the library and see if we've talked about that before. But
no, we talked about kitchen kit.
Yeah.
The, knives that feel comfortable, the sort of standard, make sure they're silicone.
Yeah. But maybe we can just dive in. I think pots and pans is a general overview because I think especially with the rise and rise, and again now, this is happening all over the world, but induction.
Yes, because
there's a lot of
cost
articles.
Of gas and
well,
shortage.
It's not only that. It's there's a lot of articles recently in the last 6 weeks that have come out asking the question if gas cooktops are dead. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because not only because of the price of gas, but also, what it does to the environment and, a lot of people are using solar power and battery and all the rest of it. So, I'm a big advocate for induction. I have been since day dot. So, yeah, it might be worth a little bit of a discussion about if you are switching from a pot and pan perspective, what you should be looking for.
Yeah.
Because anything that works on induction will still work on gas. And there's a lot of materials which get used, which are better heat conductors than others and all the rest of it. So we can.
That sounds like a plan, Paul. It's a very different start to our podcasting.
Well, I'm trying to be organised this year. I can't speak for you.
Well, I have good intentions, but sometimes we all get caught up. But this year's a whole new year.
Yeah, it's time to clean the wooden spoon.
Yes, we've updated Demystified, and everybody.
We have.
Everybody can now find it either online with the updated information, or if you're in Australia, in hard copy.
Yep.
And the updated information is.
Well, we've added Fahrenheit to everything.
Yes.
We have, for those that need them, and this is the thing about this, because I've answered a few questions recently, for those that require percentages around combination foods or combination cooking and percentages of steam and all the rest of it, we've added suggested percentages. And we've also added, well, we've done a lot of corrections as well. So
we've added pork into the pork recipes.
Yeah,
yes.
There are a few bits and pieces missing from version 1.0
yes.
of the book. So version 1.1. And I've also added an information page just about terminology. It's not a glossary, but it's just more around terminology and how maybe you can understand your combi steam oven a little bit better just by simplifying everything. And it's certainly how to use our recipes within your combi steam, because we're brand agnostic. So we're not associated to a single brand. So we've tried to add enough, especially to cover our US audience, right? So we now have Fahrenheit, absolutely. So all the recipes are at Celsius and Fahrenheit, steam percentages if they are needed, and, further info about the terminology. So, yeah, you can get demystified direct from us. That's steamahead.com.au.
If you're in Australia.
Or you can order on Amazon.
That's right.
Yeah, just Google, just type demystified into
cookbook.
Cookbook into the Amazon site. Or if you're a subscriber to our newsletter,
click on the links.
Click on the links.
Yes, and I think that back page is so worthy. We should put it in book 2.
Yes,
that's just about finished editing, so that'll be easier online to get it first.
Yeah.
Printing takes a little while, but that's all right, and we'll get there this year. That'll be released this year.
Correct.
So yeah, big plans ahead.
Big plans. And more recipes. I've got still some recipes to edit. And, we're going to explore a few different techniques as well.
Excellent.
And more tutorials, actually, because I think the tutorials are good. So more how-tos.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Particularly
if anyone's got any ideas of
how-to with food probes as well.
We can get dive into food probes.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah, they're becoming more
and more popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. It's good to see you. No, it's good to see you today. And
get a new wooden spoon, Linda.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to go back. I'm going to love that. When Dougie says, "What are you doing with the wooden spoon?" And I'll take a photo.
You can put it in you can put the wooden spoon in a frame and stick it up in your kitchen somewhere. And, you can still keep the wooden spoon.
I could.
Let's just have a look and see what sort of condition.
That's true. Well, thank you for that.
No worries.
And until next time, everybody out there, happy cooking.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to this podcast as we explore home cooking in a modern world. We'd love you to subscribe, and for more information, please go to our website, cookingwithsteam.com.